If you ever wanted to compost at home but just thought it was too complicated or didn't know where to start, today's video is for you. Today I'm going to show you some simple steps for a quick start to backyard composting. You don't have to be a gardener to appreciate just how important compost is for any garden or landscape. It improves the soil, it reduces diseases and the amount of water that's required, and it adds nutrients to plants in your lawn. It can even divert waste that would otherwise end up in a landfill. See this? It used to be this, and that, and all of that, and so much more. Compost is the natural decomposition of materials that we see and use every day. And from our backyards to our kitchens and even our offices, the raw material for making compost is all around us. And with a few simple steps, all of that becomes this sooner or later. In nature, compost happens naturally. The forest floor is really just one big thick carpet of compost. And look how well the forest thrives. No extra fertilizers, pesticides, or crazy chemicals going on there, and no involvement from us. It just takes a little longer, that's all. But when we apply a few simple steps at home, not only can we make great compost for free, but we can do it faster, without any smell or pesky critters. And when we use it in our gardens, there's nothing better. And something else about compost, it's the ultimate way to recycle. Now that we know that we can compost anywhere and for any budget, what are some of the ingredients that go into making it? Well, you might be surprised to know that a lot of them come from the house, especially the kitchen. Now, a good rule of thumb is anything that came from the ground in its last life, a great candidate for compost, such as fruits and vegetables. But there's some other things in the kitchen that go just as well, like coffee grounds and coffee filters and paper towels and paper towel rolls and napkins and all those pizza boxes, a lot of those at my house, and newspapers. All of those make great ingredients for compost. But what are some of the things that don't go there? Well, never put meat or grease or dairy. Why? Because those are very attractive to those pests and those other animals that we talked about not wanting to be there. Leave these out and you won't attract the pest. Now, what about beyond the kitchen, like your office? Well, we get a lot of paper there, right? Well, the paper itself can go straight into the compost, but a better way is to shred it first because it will break down more quickly. It's a great component. Now, the more you look around your house and your office, the more you're going to see that can go into your compost. And all of that's from just inside the house and the office. Now, from the outside, you're probably never going to have a shortage of ingredients for your compost. And the same rule of thumb applies. If it comes from the ground, it's a good candidate for right there. So let's start with the grass clippings. If you don't grass cycle, that means putting the grass clippings back into the lawn, then you're going to collect them and put them into your compost because this is a great ingredient. Now in the fall especially, you're going to have lots of leaves and you certainly want to add those as well, and also the twigs that are going to fall down. But be mindful of how thick they are because the thicker, the longer it's going to take for them to break down. So keep these thin. And as you do your garden cleanup, you want to put these in the compost as well, with some caveats. Now, if there are any diseases on your plants, when you think about adding them, leave them out and get them off your property because those diseases can actually persist if your compost doesn't get hot enough. You end up adding those diseases back next season. And the same thing applies for weeds. Now, these are about to go to seed, and I don't want to add these to my compost because if it doesn't get hot, again for the same reasons, these seeds can persist all through the season. I can add these back to my garden next year, and I don't want to do that, and I'm sure you don't either. And there's one final caveat. If you're bringing in ingredients from an outside source, you need to know what their habits are because if they're using pesticides or herbicides, some of those are very persistent and they can actually last through the entire process. You can end up having the opposite effect with your compost and it can do more harm than good. So if you don't know the source, I would just leave it alone and keep it out of the compost. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, but it will get you started.